Oh no, this can't be.
Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 262 part 2 is out and I didn't like it. I thought this chapter was really dumb, a head scratcher. Now before I talk about why I don't like this chapter, I feel I need to set some ground rules. There is a single requirement you need to meet in order to continue watching this video. You need to promise me that you will watch the entire video to completion before posting a comment. That is all I'm asking. If you can't meet that requirement, this video is not for you. You should probably stop watching and I hope you have a nice day. I say this because the Jujutsu Kaisen fandom has a problem with responding to discourse surrounding the series with a simple phrase of, "You can't read." No attempt to genuinely engage in any discourse, no attempt to provide evidence or to further elaborate on why they disagree with an individual's argument, just saying, "You can't read," and moving on with their day. Now there are times where this course of action is justified, but for it to be the go-to response, as I've witnessed from this fandom over the years, I am once again saying that that doesn't fly around here. Because how are you going to go around and tell people to fully read and pay attention to the content in the story and then not fully read or listen to someone's argument as to why they dislike something in the series? It's not consistent. The same goes for the people that preach that Jujutsu Kaisen is poorly written without further elaborating on why, only using vague statements to support their claims. That is just as bad. So I better not see any comments that showcase these mentalities. That's not how I run ship around here. Alright, I'm assuming if you are still watching this video that you have understood the requirement to continue and I can finally talk about why I don't like this chapter. To probably nobody's surprise, my issue with this chapter is Inumaki, specifically how his cursed speech was utilized in this chapter. So Yuta had Inumaki record his voice into a voice recorder and use the audio of Inumaki saying "don't move" to free Sukuna in place to catch him with a hollow purple attack. Immediately my mind goes to Higuruma and the Executioner's sword. Now what I'm going to be talking about is not the same as what I'm assuming a lot of people have heard when it comes to the combination of Higuruma and Inumaki. My initial reaction was, why didn't Inumaki use his cursed speech when Higuruma was battling Sukuna in chapter 247? However, I realized that during the Goodwill arc, Inumaki struggled to use cursed speech on Hanami because of the stress on his throat. No diddy. So with the recent chapters showing Inumaki throwing up heaps of blood, it implies that if Inumaki used cursed speech against a full power Sukuna, he would probably blow up like Cell, so that was out of the question. But you know what happened right after? Another scenario entered my mind. Why didn't Wiwi just teleport Higuruma to safety immediately after Kamutoke was confiscated, keeping Higuruma on standby, have everything that has happened so far in this arc play out exactly the same, and then have Higuruma appear once again Sukuna has been weakened, using the same strategy of Inumaki's voice recording to hold Sukuna in place and then have the Executioner's sword confirm the kill. Now for the rest of the video, I'll be making points against any potential counter arguments I theorize people might make against the scenario I came up with.
There's no way out of this one. You're done.
Person might say that my scenario is unrealistic because Kamutoke being confiscated was something Jujutsu High wasn't expecting, so they wouldn't be able to mentally react quick enough to improvise on the fly. This is a pointless argument because in my scenario, the characters a part of Jujutsu High would be going in with the plan where the second the Executioner's sword is activated, get Higuruma out of there. But local, that would be stupid because the benefits of the original plan was to take Sukuna's curse technique away. Again, this is another useless counter argument because the Executioner's sword should be prioritized towards a situation where the win con is guaranteed. Sukuna without his curse technique is still a monster. Chapter 260 supports this, so you can't confidently claim that there's a 100% chance towards Higuruma's survival in that situation. Plus, in the event where Higuruma was able to seal Sukuna's curse technique, Jujutsu High can just stall until Yuta arrives and win through the Yuji Soul Punch strategy. Thus, there was literally no reason to risk Higuruma getting killed this early on. The Yuta and Yuji plan should have been Jujutsu High's first attempt at saving Megumi after Gojo's death. Also, if you believe that Wiwi wouldn't be able to teleport Higuruma to safety after using his domain expansion, I think you are discrediting feats characters have achieved in this arc in order to push an agenda. In chapter 246, after confiscation is applied to Kamutoke, there are multiple exchanges in combat that give enough time for Wiwi to teleport Higuruma away from the battlefield. There's Chozo getting blitzed, Ino attacking Sukuna, and Sukuna attacking Yuji and Kusakabe. After these moments, it was Higuruma that engaged in combat with Sukuna. It's not Sukuna that initiates contact, so you can't say to me that Sukuna isolated Higuruma, which is why my scenario doesn't work. Because I know that there's going to be someone that will say that the spread of Kusakabe telling Yuji to leave Higuruma alone debunks my argument. With my scenario, it doesn't even get to that point. The next counter argument I could see someone saying is that Higuruma was essential in weakening Sukuna to the state that we see him in during chapter 262, which is flat out incorrect. Throughout the entire fight between Higuruma and Sukuna, Higuruma does not do any permanent damage to Sukuna that advances the progression of weakening him. Sukuna toys around with Higuruma the entire fight, so any statement that suggests otherwise is simply revisionist manga's history. It is only until the fight in Yuta's domain where we see permanent damage applied to Sukuna again. Now the last point I'll talk about is a possibility that the recording could potentially freeze Higuruma as well when Inumaki's cursed speech activates. There is a really simple solution to this possibility. Inumaki simply just uses a binding vow on the range of his technique. We've seen the villains and heroes use binding vows throughout this arc. Literally 2 chapters ago, Todo used a binding vow that allowed for the range of his technique to be affected. You don't need a PhD to use a binding vow in JJK. Like Miwa was using a binding vow in this series, so you can't tell me that Inumaki using a binding vow is off the table. Inumaki using a binding vow aside, Higuruma and Todo could just stay out of range of the cursed speech activation, and then Todo could just swap Higuruma close to Sukuna immediately. Thus, I believe the scenario presented in this video guarantees a victory for Jujutsu High with way less casualties. That honestly makes me question why they never considered this in the first place. It really makes everything that occurred in this arc prior to this moment look pretty stupid. Hopefully this video does well, as I really haven't seen anyone else bring up this scenario, so I'm interested to see how the discussion will pan out. Because so far I've just been seeing people argue the same points consistently since the TCB translations for this chapter dropped. But before I end this video off, I just want to thank my channel member, Loki Bentillo, for supporting the channel. Being a channel member means a lot to me, so if anyone sees them in the comments, consider replying to them with some kind words. And if you want to replicate Gojo and Toji's style of fashion, check out Anime Express, the sponsor of today's video. Let's keep it real. A lot of anime merch sucks. Low quality and the designs are not moving the soul, but the Anime Express store has something for you. Hoodies, t-shirts, shorts, LED lamps, jewelry, black blades in stock filled with Mihawk's Conqueror's hockey. This store will feed you well, especially if you are a JJK fan. And don't worry, I'm looking out for my day ones, so if you use the code TheLocalDub10, you get a 10% discount at checkout. So make sure to lock in at animeexpress.store so you don't end up like Gojo. If you stuck around till the end of the video, I just want you to know that I appreciate you. And if you want to talk to me about anime related topics, join my Discord server. Also consider becoming a channel member, another way to support me, and I support you back with shoutouts at the end of the video, early access to new videos, custom emotes, and members only videos depending on which level of membership you decide to choose. And if you're someone that enjoys anime content that keeps it real, consider subscribing so when I hit 10K, you can brag about being a day one. I gotta get back in the kitchen to cook. Peace. You thought this video was done? Nope. There's still more. After I finished recording this video, there was an interview that released that basically Gege just said that Sukuna needed Mahoraga to defeat Gojo. It's pretty much, if I want to summarize it, that's pretty much what he said. So, yeah. Next week or maybe in a couple weeks there will be a video covering that, because Gege, what are you doing? You're selling really hard and it's breaking my heart. I might tweak out because this is not it. I don't know what you're doing, man. Shinjuku Showdown was supposed to surpass Shibuya. And what you're doing right now with these interviews, with this information coming out, the Nobara news, all these other things, all I'm hearing in the back of my mind is Shibuya's aging like ass and Shinjuku's gonna start aging like ass. My agendas is cooked and it's all your fault. And you know what? If he keeps this up, I'm coming. I'm coming for him. Because this is not it. No more. I can't take it.